People who have shit their pants. What happened? I'm a truck driver. Rest area I was aiming for was closed. Tried to hold out for the next exit, but I was fully dilated. Didn't make it. Fully dilated. Lol. Did you try the controlled breathing techniques you learned in Lame's class? Nothing worked, believe me. It was not a pleasant delivery. A friend of mine had to shit in a bucket in the back of his van on the motorway due to a service stop being closed. I could chew the smell honestly. Ahahaha. Jesus Christ, that's a hell of a description. Was in high school. Held in a shit all day cause I couldn't use public restrooms. Germophobia I guess. Walking home after school, stomach in pain due to holding in shit all day. Thought I'd fart to relieve some pressure. I can now use public restrooms, no matter how dirty they are. Similar thing happened to me when I was like 12. My family and I were at Walmart, and I had to shit really bad, but didn't want to use the restrooms there, so I thought I could wait till I got home. Halfway there I was begging my mom to drive faster, because it was on the way. We hit a bump, and I shit all over myself. I too can now use any public restroom. I had a fever of about 102, and was weak as hell. I had stomach flu, so anything and everything was coming out both ends. I made it to the bathroom in time for the puke, but not in time for my pajamas. Pretty much how it usually goes. Gambled on a fart and lost. Here I sit, broken-hearted. Tried to shit, but only farted. Then one day, I took a chance. Tried to fart, and shit my pants. I tried to get my S/O out of the bathroom, so I could shit, but they were putting on makeup and I'm such a nice fucking person I walked out, and sharted a little. I told you it couldn't wait, goddamn I told you. A lot of us went to a barbecue, they spit roasted a pig, followed all directions to a T. Meat was done, and pulled easily and whatnot. Next day we all called each other to report we were all puking out our asses. Many did not make it to the bathroom, the meat was bad apparently. Teachers of Reddit, what are your the parent is? Just as bad as the student's stories? I had a preschooler call his mother an asshole. This would be upsetting, except the day before. She called him an asshole. She said it quiet enough that other children or people wouldn't hear, but my coworker swore she heard her say it. We have our scheduled conference and she doesn't understand why he says such nasty things to her. She doesn't understand why he says such nasty things to her. She pretends not to if she mutters the same type of shit to him under her breath. It's fairly obvious that the child is learning stuff from you when you see them learning stuff from you. Parents in a nutshell. Treats kids like shit and acts surprised when they don't end up well adjusted. The mother who was screaming in the office, I'm gonna hit you in your fucking face, because a tutor dared to say the kid was having behavior issues during free tutoring. Now I know why the 5 of your 11 kids in our school are terrible hot messes. Poor things don't have much of a change. Mom was banned from the building because this was the last straw. 11 kids. I'm more impressed that she had 6 that weren't terrible hot messes. Jesus, good to hear she got kicked out at the end though. Obligatory, not a teacher, but I worked as a camp counselor. We had an 8-year-old who managed to shit his pants about 4 times in 2 months. We'd tell the mother, who just waved it off saying that he was just too lazy to go to the bathroom, and that he always did that. Regular 8-year-olds do not routinely shit their pants, but okay Karen. That can be a sign of sexual abuse. I was a French teacher. Kid was in level 1 French. Clearly he put his assignment through a translator. I confronted him. He admitted it, so I gave him a 0F. His family lost their minds. They claimed I was calling him stupid. Long story short, principal let him redo the assignment. What would be the worst thing to hear as you're going under anesthesia before a surgery? We're doing the left, right. I had a surgery where I wrote "not this leg" in Sharpie on the leg that was not being operated on. I thought it would get a laugh or maybe some irritation. Instead they thought it was smart, which was actually a little scary. I work at a hospital and part of the safety training we have to go through actually discusses always using correct instead of right, because it commonly leads to mistakes. They mentioned that it's easy to tell when an employee is new at this point because they'll say right during a meeting, meaning correct, and it sounds weird to everyone else. Deleted. This is where I stopped scrolling. You win. Jesus, what the fuck? I mean, I've been exposed to the particular sensitivity issues the front line can create, but that doctor's a savage. Not before, but during. My mom was having some major surgery done on her knee, I think. The sleeping gas petered out, and she woke up, but still wasn't feeling pain. She heard them hammering and drilling with power tools, and looked up to see what was going on. A nurse noticed her, slammed her head down, before she could see, and told her, "Don't look." My nan had her knee replacement done under local, because general would probably have killed her. Because she wanted to watch, but couldn't fully sit up, the surgeons wired up their recording kit to a big screen TV. Even let her have a copy. The NHS fucking rocks. That's similar to my great gran. She had to have throat surgery 2 weeks before her 100th birthday. The only problem was she had to be under local anesthetic, so she had surgery on her throat while fully conscious. It still amazes me that she did that. She is now 101 and still going strong. Okay, that's enough anesthesia. He is definitely out now and completely unconscious. Time to start the drilling. Anesthesia awareness. Or nurse here. A lot of times the body will react to pain, even when the patient is completely out. The heart rate or blood pressure goes up suddenly, or the patient will start moving or wiggling. The anesthesia team will teach other meds to deepen the anesthesia. We don't ever want the patient in pain, even if they won't remember it. We try hard. I had to get a bone spur removal when I was 13. My anesthesiologist looked at my chart and said, "Sweet 16. You have a car yet?" At least he was better with dosage math than age math, because I'm not dead. In their defense, if your date of birth was written by the doctor, it was probably illegible. Firefighters of Reddit. What's the easiest way to accidentally burn your house down? Shitty wiring. We just removed our old wooden kitchen cabinets to renovate and put in new ones, and we found exposed uninsulated wires. We've had this kitchen since we bought the house over 23 years ago, and we've always had humidity problems. Mom doesn't wanna talk about it. Fry homemade potato chips on a gas stove with a plastic kitchen bin next to it. Turn around for maybe 10 seconds. Voila. Kitchen engulfed. Oh, and make sure the fire extinguisher is in the cupboard right next to the stove and therefore redundant. Serious answer. Deep freeing on the stove atop with a pot of oil. For guaranteed conflagration, do it while you're drinking. Well, about every year someone burns their house down by chasing a bug, typically a spider, around with a lighter, trying to burn the bug to death, and managing to ignite other things. Not a firefighter, but I was always warned many fires in winter come from space heaters being plugged into extension cords. Introverts of Reddit. How did you meet your so? A mutual friend was having a small get together. We saw each other. I thought he was cute, but wouldn't talk to him because I'm not social at all. So he picked a fight with me, and me being stubborn had to get the last word. Long story short, we have been together over 10 years now. That'll teach him. Years later, after a long and happy marriage, has on his deathbed about to take his last breath. Remember that party where we met? I get the last word. Digging holes in a graveyard. We are archaeologists. A mutual friend noticed how we are basically the same person and set in considerable effort in trying to convince us to talk to each other. Bless her, she was right. 4chan. Yeah, I know. I regret it. Not my so anymore, but it lasted over half a decade. Which part of 4chan? The weird one or the super weird one? Omegle. In the spy mode of all places. She was using a bot. I was replying to the bot out of boredom. She randomly came back while she was using the bot, and we had a conversation. This should be in history books for the future generation. At work. Always at work. I don't want to talk about it. I think it's important to remember that being introverted doesn't mean dreading socializing. For most people it's more that they need time to mentally prepare for it and recharge afterwards, but it's in no way something to avoid as much as possible. I didn't. What do they make like they used to? Those little clips that go on bread bags. Fun fact, most American bread clips are still made in Yakima, Washington. Quick lock. Clay dot. I smelled one at Walmart the other day, still smells the same.